God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. Sometimes He has set me free. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. He's been good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. He gives me strength and energy. God help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying,
God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me.
then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
God, let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up.
And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all.
And today, as always, is Monday, Hot Button Monday, where you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797. Or you can, of course, go to our live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and go to live stream, and you can put on the board, the message board, a message that we will read over the air, as many as we can. And thanks, Dominique, for starting for me. I was getting off a Zoom call that I had to take. But we are here. I'll be here the next 3 hours with you for this Hot Button Monday, and there's a whole lot of hot button stuff to talk about today. If you have been alive and not hiding under a rock, a lot going on. And let's get into it. Last night, the Democratic caucus in the Senate met and agreed to reopen the government with the Republicans, with an understanding that there would be a vote on health care in January, and that they would start the SNAP programs, as well as pay federal employees and not fire any federal employees in the process. I got a call middle of yesterday afternoon, where Chuck Schumer called me and said that 8 or 9 of his Democrats were going to defect and make this deal, and that he was not going to cave. He was going to vote against it, but he wanted me to know he did all he could to keep them together through the election. At least they didn't defect before the election. And about 3 or 4 hours later, soon after I got off my television show, the caucus had happened and the vote went down. The bad news is that they caved and went for a January vote on health care. The good news is SNAP can now be dealt with, as well as the federal employees. The unknown, though, is what happens in the House, because the House of Representatives has to vote on this. Otherwise, it goes nowhere. And I think that the interesting part about that I think a lot of people are missing, is that in order for the House to vote on this, the House has to reconvene. And if the House reconvenes, then Speaker Mike Johnson has to swear in the elected Representative Gravala, I'm saying her name wrong, or who succeeded her father. She is the one vote they need now to release all the Epstein files. So I'm not even sure they can get Johnson to call Congress back, because I'm not sure that President Trump wants those files released. They cannot take the vote in the House without swearing her in, because she's been duly elected in the special election after her father died. They've been stalling, swearing her in. So a lot of this is going to be not only sticky for all of us, it's going to be sticky for the Republicans, because they may have won a battle and lost the war with the Epstein files, and they lost a war with the election. I said it on Morning Joe this morning, that I would have voted against caving. I can
disagree without being disagreeable. I ain't got to call people a bunch of names. I think they were wrong. I think that the premiums on the Health Affordable Care Act and all has to be protected. And I understand the unions that are saying, the AFGE and others that are saying, but our workers are suffering, our workers don't have employment. It is not an easy choice either way, but I would have held out. But having said that, then now it moves to the House where the votes cannot happen without bringing in the whole question of people that will want to see these Epstein files go forward. So it's going to be an interesting next few days. The other thing is, the irony of this is that can the congressman get to Washington that easily when flights are being canceled? It may take to the end of the week to get everybody back into Washington as a making of their own, which they did. So I think that it is absolutely clear to me there's a lot to talk about in terms of that. And the senators that went, the Democrats that went against Schumer and the rest was Jean Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, Angus King, Catherine Cortez Maestro, Dick Durbin of Illinois, and John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, Tim Kaine of Virginia, and Jackie Rosen. These are the ones that told Schumer we're going with the Republicans when I got the call from him. Hakeem Jeffries, he opposed the Senate move. In the House, he's saying we should not give them anything. I'm sure that he will try to keep his caucus as tight as he can. Who knows how they'll all vote. But their votes do not, all they need is a majority there, but they cannot get to the majority without swearing in the Arizona Congresswoman. Same time in other news, President Donald Trump has pardoned Rudy Giuliani and others. Is 76 of them that are linked to efforts to overturn the 2020 election in a broad proclamation covering all U.S. citizens accused of election interference or actions tied to challenging the results. So we really, really need to talk about that. And the Supreme Court also rejected hearing efforts to overturn same-sex marriage ruling. The LGBT community was afraid this court would come and overrule it. They've voted not to hear it, and but they are hearing a major challenge to mail-in ballot laws, and in this court that could be problematic. So it's a lot to talk about this Monday. It's XL Friday, followed by always our Hot Button Monday. And it's Monday, and it's real Monday. And it's time to really hear from you. I'm sure a lot of people in the Senate, the Congress, and or their staffs are tuned in to hear what people around the country have to say. So here we are, and let's get it on. Let me take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. it, Faith.
Every step I take, you will be there. Every step I make, we'll be together. Every step I take, you will be there. Every step I make, we'll be together. Every step I take.
Thank you so much. I was thinking I was going to prepare a speech, but I can't read those things anymore. Name's Babyface, not Baby Body. But I wanted to. I mean, you made me sound so good with those words. I was like, that was me. I was like, when I look at my life and I think of the music and everything that I've done, I used to say that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the words come from. I don't know where the music comes from. I don't know how I got here where I am, but that's not true. God got me here. This is and it becomes more clear to me every day that's why I'm here. And I don't even know how I ended up standing here, except for the fact that I ran into Al at the Essence. He was walking in the room, and I said, I got to go say hello. And he said, I want to honor you. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to honor you. I said, really? Yep. And here I am standing here, and I can only thank you. I always want to do this, Michael. I love you too. Sorry. But I think of moments like this, I can't help but just think of how proud my mom would be for me standing here. I have to say that just to be standing here and to be invited by Al Sharpton, and I want you guys to really think about this man who invited me here and how he has been fighting the fight for us all of these years. I don't think we give him enough credit. I don't think we give him enough love. Sometimes you just get used to people and you think, well, that's just Al. No. He's more than that. I want y'all to give him really love. Come on, let's give him. It's very true. Because I can remember times, I'm 67 years old, I can remember times in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it's true, I'm 67. And I can remember times in Indianapolis when I was growing up, and there were places before I was 5 years old that I could not go to because I was black. And I remember how civil rights, how that changed everything for me and for my life, and that I'm standing here today because of all of those changes, and I was able to do the kind of music that I do and do everything because those things happened. And so for me to accept an award like this, because I've never gotten an award like this before, and so I really appreciate it, and I'm just so thankful, and I thank my mom for giving me the sense to always be humble with my life and to never think that it's all about me. And so like I said, I didn't prepare a speech. I always just wanted to speak from my heart. And I'm speaking from my heart, and I want to tell you once again, Al Sharpton, you are a blessing to us all, and I thank you for inviting me for this, and thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron, so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special, special place in my heart and on my shelf, because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Nash Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I gotta talk about that.
Oh no.
Happy birthday
Please.
this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I gotta tell Reverend Bird to read Daniel 5th chapter. I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
Or a half hour.
You should tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. She just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and on our message board I see Kevin Warrels, morning, afternoon. He says, good afternoon, Nan, Atlanta. Congratulations, you're reopening, and I pray many more years of fighting for the rights of those who can't fight for themselves. And Kevin Warrels is of the morning, afternoon, evening show. Okay. Thank you for your good vibes and same back at you in what you do. Frederick McLeod is saying, let's put clarity on the mail-in ballots. It's ballots received after Election Day. Very important with clarity, and I think you are right. Absolutely right. Forensic Accounting is saying y'all left Tim Kaine off the list, the worst VP candidate in my lifetime, worse than Spiro Agnew. I did mention Tim Kaine from Virginia, but thank you for your call. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, every Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. You know, a lady stopped me and said, Reverend Al, I heard you had first she said, I saw you Saturday night where you had on the two black women mayors. Never had been a black woman mayor in Albany, New York. Never had been one in Syracuse, New York. And I was glad. And then you had the people that's over the congresswoman that's over the congressional campaign. She said, but I missed last night. I didn't watch last night. I heard you had a 19-year-old black kid that's got elected to the local council. I said, that's why you got to watch every night. You never know who I'm going to have on Saturday, Sunday. So don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC or MS Now, starting because of the corporate breakdown. It'll be called MS Now. Same station, same network, same mission. And make sure you watch it. Then the Saturday Action rallies at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue, and we had a very good rally Saturday. We're getting geared up. And one of the things we going to stay on alert is we always do Thanksgiving turkeys and feedings, hot meals on Thanksgiving Day, turkeys before that, and the same with Christmas. But if they don't get this SNAP thing right now, they claim that it will go into effect right away. We ready to do our feedings there in many of the cities. We have chapters. So stay tuned to the show, but you watch also on Saturdays. You that are not in the New York and general vicinity, you can, of course, watch it live on Impact Television or on National Action Network net, and then you go to live stream. All right, let's take some calls. I read already a few messages. Let's go to the phones and take some calls. Let me go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ray, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir, Rev. Thanks for taking my call. Rev, before I get to the shutdown, on a lighter note, let me say this. Trump has destroyed Washington. He fired federal workers, and he brought the the National Guard into Washington. What makes him think he can go to a football game and think he's not going to get booed?
Yeah, he did. He got really booed too.
Yeah, he got booed. That's nerve. But Rev, on this shutdown, or potential of it ending, I call these Democrat senators the traitor eight, because I'm like, okay, this is what, day 40 or 40 something of the shutdown. What's different than day 10 or day 20 or day 30? What you did, you're putting your faith in a known liar like Donald Trump and a known liar like the leader of the House. They both lie. So what makes you think they're going to keep their promise and negotiate? When it comes time to negotiate or even have a sit down and talk. With the health care. And I think I can understand it, because they're not running for re-election next year. That's what I heard on TV.
They're not. But and I think that the problem that Schumer and those that Warnock, Ossoff, all of them that sticking out, is that these guys that turned, which is one of the reasons I guess Schumer called, don't have to run, and they're saying there's nothing guaranteeing in January that they're going to do the right thing. But do we keep having SNAP canceled, which now is not, and do we keep the federal workers out when we've got AFGE, liberal unions of government workers, on us saying we need to go to work? So I don't agree with their point. I said it. I would have stuck it out, but I understand that they got some pressure from all sides of this, and we are in a tough situation, but we got to get through it. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Exhale, be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustling, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We were going, yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Front last time, and we
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's Hot Button Monday, whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your mind. Evangelist Ramsey is writing in on the message board. Good afternoon, Rev. So glad to see you another day in the land of the living. I'm glad too, Evangelist Ramsey. I'm really not surprised about those wicked people in high places who steal from the poor to give to the rich. Rev, my grandma used to say, if you lie, you will steal. Your grandma must have known mine, because mine used to say the same thing. Let's go to the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to activist extraordinaire in Chicago, Sister Pam. Pam, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Oh, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. Thank you for what you do and all civil rights leaders and organizations and churches, because we need you now more than ever. And you've always been relevant. And you know why I say that, because there have been discussions in the past. Are civil rights organizations relevant? Of course they are, because look where we are now with this adjudicated sexual abuser who committed rape, according to Judge Kaplan, that's in the White House. Reverend Sharpton, I'm going to try to be measured because I am really upset. But I'm going to try to be measured in my statements, and I hope I make sense. So, and let me just say this, Reverend Sharpton, I do not like Morning Joe at all. But I appreciate that when you're on there, you state facts and you speak truth and you speak for the people. So I want to make that clear. Reverend Sharpton, in this surrender, it's not even a deal, because I listen to the words used. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, in this surrender, the 8 Democrats, and let me just fess up that one of the Democrats, Senator Durbin, is my senator. Mm-hmm. I've attempted to call his office. Of course, the voicemail is full, so you can't get a message through. So I guess I'll go on and attempt to email or whatever, but perhaps they won't even do that. I would say I feel comfortable saying the majority of people in Illinois are disgusted. Because, Reverend Sharpton, and bear with me for a moment, look what they asked the people to do. They asked us that when they decided to shut down, for us to support them. And we did that. We came out and swept, if not all, almost all of the elections that were Tuesday. We swept it and voted Democratic in the midst of a shutdown. They asked us to do that, and we showed up for them, Reverend Sharpton. I know this shutdown is difficult, but what's going to be difficult is when people can't afford their health care or don't get health care. And just as these traitor eights made this deal, what did the news report? Just reported that the adjudicated sexual abuser in the White House is continuing to ask the Supreme Court to hold SNAP payments. Did you just hear what I said, Reverend
absolutely.
Sharp?
Absolutely.
So now what are those 8 Democratic senators going to say? But see, I know they're all millionaires, and they want to be able to get on planes and go where they need to go for the holiday. I don't trust their reasoning why they did this, but I feel very betrayed. And if I was a multimillionaire, Reverend Sharpton, I probably would invest a whole lot of money into trying to do something politically with a different party. And I hate to say that, because I know it's not always an easy choice, so I'm not that naive. But Reverend Sharpton, we came out and said that we supported them. We said in the midst of, with our vote, in the midst of a shutdown, we ushered Democratic candidates in office. So what more do we have to do to show our loyalty? And Fetterman and Maggie, I can't remember, Senator Maggie, I think that was one of the names you named.
Mm-hmm.
One of the podcasters said that she was just on their show, I think over the weekend, or maybe Friday, saying that, no, I'm not going to go for any deals. There will be no deal. And I don't care how they try to explain this. You cannot trust dealing with these Republicans and the person in that White House. And they said they have an understanding about getting the Affordable Care Act extensions. That's not a guarantee, Reverend Sharpton. And you know that when so if the House opens up, that depends on Johnson, Senator Grijalva, Representative Grijalva, do they have to install her immediately, or is he going to try to delay it and defer it?
I think that they would have, Grijalva is filling a seat that her father passed, that she won a special election. He would have no basis to stall it. There's nothing to go through. She show up, they swear her in. And again, I think that that's the law, and I think Hakeem Jeffries and the Democratic caucus there would force that. He just will not reconvene the House. They cannot even make the motion to have her immediately sworn in, which is law, because he will not reconvene the House.
Okay. And lastly, I'm going to ask you this, Reverend Sharma, because you probably know more of these elected officials or have some way of communicating with them. As I stated, I don't know their true reasoning for doing this. I don't know, did somebody, did the rapist in the White House, did he offer to pay them something, do something additional for their state? I just don't know. But I know I'm very disappointed in Durbin. And I'm going to do everything I can to express that to him.
See,
Again,
I think, and Beverly Mims Taylor is saying Sister Pam is correct. I'm beyond disappointed with Senator Durbin's support of this bill. What was the whole point of the shutdown, that we relinquished the most important part. And see, I think what you're raising is correct. I think that the people in the states, and I named where these senators are from, they have to put the pressure. Everybody's going to take shots at Schumer and the rest of the head of the Senate Democrat, but they all voted against it. It's the 8 or 9 that voted with the Republicans that need to be called out by people in their state. Because when Schumer called me and said what they were getting ready to do, he wanted us to put pressure on them. It's got to come from their states. And you can't blame those that voted to keep the shutdown for the 8 or 9 that we're not putting the pressure in Illinois, in Virginia, in them on our own senators. Right away, people, Schumer and them caved. Schumer and Warnock and Offert and all of them voted against opening. These were 8 or 9 Democrats. And I think that it is despicable. It is unexcusable. But I think if we shoot the bullets at the wrong people, we're going to end up continuing to get the same thing.
And my last question to you, Reverend Sharpton, because applying pressure, were you made aware, Reverend Sharpton, that they were even working on this deal? Because to me, this came out of left field, and I call myself trying to keep abreast of what's going on. So they seem like they did it on the cover of night, so that we didn't have time to apply pressure. Now, I could be wrong about that.
No, I think you're right. I mean, the first I heard, I'll be completely honest right on the air. When Schumer called me and said these guys was going, I don't know the words he used, but I will say going amiss, that's the first I heard that there was even a discussion with some of them in the Republicans. Now, I do understand that it was with these guys in the Republicans, not the Democratic caucus. So I had no idea there was even these clandestine meetings.
And therein lies the problem. So now we have to move forward. We're still fighting for health care. And they will renege every opportunity that they get. Negotiations only work if you're negotiating with people who have integrity.
That's right.
And, who will honor the negotiations. But this is a surrender. Let's call it what it is. And people are upset. I know I am, Reverend Sharpton. And so, but thank you for just, being on the right side of the issue. And, representing how we feel. And that's no matter what, platform you're on. It's greatly appreciated.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for your call. Let me see if I can get Yusef in Hawaii. Yusef in Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day, sir. We have a total of 18 million veterans in the United States that's recorded voting on AI. Most of this information is looked up on AI. If anybody's confused about the elections, the Affordable Care Act, you can look it up through your research. But with the National Guard deployed over there in the urban cities, it is Veterans Day weekend. I'm looking to see what candidates are going to talk about: education for the National Guard, healthcare for the National Guard, home ownership. They're already deployed. When that deployment is over, they have to file their disability, and that's been a hot topic. It's on YouTube right now with Jeffries on the panel talking about veterans benefits and how people are somewhat trying to say that vets are committed fraud, or there's a lot of misleading things in there. So for military folks, they're gonna have to document everything, because we ain't trying to lie when it comes to our injuries. Like I said, when I joined, I didn't know I can put those injuries there, but if you do, you look as if you're weak, right? For the folks that mad at Mamdani, they need to run for office. It's 2026. Our community need to run for office, like right now.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Rev.
I agree, Yusef. Thank you for your call, Yusef from Hawaii. We'll be right back. Hot Bud Monday, keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago. Had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice. So I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old?
I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, in which they did DEI, started in Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, at ACP with the French Farmers together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this stuff. Come on. We've reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797. And it's Hot Button Monday. And as we start every week with our political, I would say political scientist, political organizer, political strategist, and founder and CEO of Blueprint Strategy LLC, Antoine Seawright. How you doing, Antoine?
I'm doing well, Reverend Av, and the most important title, one of the most important titles I have is Friend of Reverend Al.
Well, you are that, and I am your friend. Now, obviously, there's a lot of outrage on the Democrats in the Senate. As I said to the show a little while ago when we came on, I said it this morning on Morning Joe's show. I got a call out of nowhere yesterday, mid-afternoon, from Senator Schumer saying that 8 or 9 of the Democrats have meeting on the defect and open up the government with the Republicans, and what they were promised was a January vote, they say, but that they would go reopen SNAP and government employees and have no one fired. And he says, but I'm still voting against it. I'm asking our caucus to vote against it, but I can't control these 8. I want you to know, Reverend Al, what's happening. Is that pretty much your understanding?
That's with very much so clarity what happened, and this whole conversation is happening online in a bubble that Leader Schumer's not effective, I think, is a waste of time and energy. I think Schumer's effective. As you know, Reverend Al, the Senate is a very independent thinking body. 100 members there are very independent in their thinking, and that's not a bad thing. I would just say to people who have this outrage about what's happening online, remind them there's a different conversation on K Street than it is on Main Street and my street. On Main Street and my street, people wanted the government open. People want their flights going as close as we get to the Thanksgiving holidays. People need their supplemental nutrition assistance program. That's why I call it survival nutrition assistance programs. And quite frankly, the Capitol Hill staffers and the government workers who are not getting paid as we inch closer to the Thanksgiving holiday, they need their pay. At the same time, Reverend Al, I do think that Democrats did a heck of a job elevating the conversation around health care and the failure of the Republicans around extending those subsidies. And so out of this, people say, well, what did Democrats get? Well, I think we got a lot. One, I think we got 30-some-odd days of not having Republicans ram, dram, and screw the American people from the floor or with legislative proposals. Number two, I think we elevated the conversation around health care that insisted that that was a topic of conversation in the 2025 elections in which Democrats experienced a political revival around because of health care and because of the shutdown. And number three, pause in the rift for 2.5 months. And that means that Donald Trump and Republicans could not continue to pick apart government. So I think we gained a lot in this government healthcare Republican shutdown. And I think we have to walk away knowing that you cannot govern if you do not win. Losers do not legislate. We did not have the House, the Senate, or the presidency. So governing as an expectation was a false narrative.
I think that, all right, let me read from the message board. Bruce Turner is saying it's not Schumer's fault that 8 caved in, put the blame on the 8. And, I think, I've had my differences with Schumer, even though he and I talk all the time and work together. But I think that I was surprised. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of the people on Capitol Hill. I was surprised that Schumer kept them together through the election because if this had happened before the election, we might have had different results. So the fact that Schumer kept them together that long was interesting to me. But I think the 8 needs to be blamed for what they did. I agree with what Bruce is saying in that sense. Now, does that mean I'm going to support Schumer for re-election if he gets a primary and all that? I mean, if you play that out, there's a lot in the media saying that AOC may give him a primary run against him. Well, I don't know that AOC could have kept 8 people in, and she wouldn't be the head of the Democratic caucus because she'd be a freshman. So I think we need to really think about what we're saying before we say it. To replace a senator with seniority with a freshman does not address this problem. It only addresses you don't understand how it goes. The other thing I think is that we cannot, in an internal fight, let the Republicans get off the hook that they closed the government down about health care. Let us not get in front of who started this, was that the premiums go up on the 1st and people are already feeling it. And this is the doing of the Republicans. And what are the Republicans doing? Mike Johnson went to the football game with Trump last night, where they want the stadium named after him, after a $300 million ballroom they're going to put in the White House that's already has the East Wing knocked down. And he had a Great Gatsby a theme party at Mar-a-Lago. So I hope we don't get, and we can have different views on the Democrats and all of that, but let's not forget the ones that did this was Trump and the Republicans.
And Reverend Al, let's be very clear. Come December, they're going to take a vote on those ACA subsidies. And guess what, Rev? People have short-term memory, but when January and those subsidies have not been extended because Mike Johnson has pretty much said he is not promising a vote or not promising he can deliver a vote on those subsidies. In an election year, you know who's going to be to blame? The Republicans. So I think people got to take a step back and breathe and understand that the continuing resolution was never going to include those ACA subsidies because the Republicans have already said they did not want to extend Obamacare. So if we want to shift the blame, I think the blame has to be shifted to the opposition party, not within our own selves.
Let's go to the phone. Let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and C-Rack.
Hey, thank you very much, Sharpton. It's good speaking to you and Mr. C-Rack. First of all, I would just like to mention, the tactic that ICE is using in Chicago when they are arresting some immigrants. Over the weekend, they're using tear gas.
Yeah.
So they're basically attacking immigrants, without even giving them a chance, to surrender. And to me, that's just outrageous.
Yeah, I had the mayor of Chicago on Politics Nation last night talking about that. It's absolutely abhorrible. No, you're right about it.
Yeah, sure it is. And also, I'd like to speak on Donald Trump pardon of the former mayor of Chicago, of New York, Giuliani, and some of the other people, who took part in the revolt on January 6th. Like I said before, it's bad on the public image, when people who attempt to overthrow the government, and also when they do things outside of the law, it just encouraged other people, to commit similar crimes, commit treason against the United States, against the Union. And to me, the pardon is supposed to be used, for people, who may have been justly incarcerated, and usually used, especially by the president, at the end of his term. By Donald Trump using it during his term, he using it as a political tool. When he feels threatened, to me, he want to release people out of prison, so they can help bolster up his reputation on the street, so they can rally people, to do his bidding, and that's what, to me, that's why the pardon wasn't given to the presidency, also to the governors as well. And I think it's really something that should be considered, by the Congress. And when it comes to the shutdown, might be repealed this week. I believe, it was a hard choice to choose. But when it comes to, people having Medicare, when people are having their food and so forth, it's up to, one thing, I believe the Supreme Court, they should have had the money given to SNAP last week when an appeal court judge ruled that Donald Trump and his administration had to give the full amount to the SNAP. For the Supreme Court to say to delay it, so they want to get an appeal court with time to think about it, they ain't need no time.
And that was Ketanji Jackson that made that decision. She's saying that she had to follow the law. That was not the whole court. That it was in her district, and she made that ruling.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that falls on her. So I don't say all the Supreme Court justices felt that way, but to me, she's showing, partisan, toward Donald Trump. Whatever he wants, it goes up to the Supreme Court. She agrees with it. She don't have any rational reason, to go along with it. And for her to be a justice, and she's supposed to have adopted children and so forth. Now, you have people out here, children not having food to eat, and she's supposed to care about children, adopting children, but yet she's going to let children out, don't have any food to eat because of the SNAP program, don't have enough funds. So her allegiance is more on a political tone than on a humanitarian tone and on a justice tone.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats, regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. I narrated them, I watched them, I observed their deeds, I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world for democracy and to commit to the global fight against hunger and disease? We did it with a go-it-alone foreign policy based on flawed intelligence. We were told that we were going to Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction. We lost hundreds of soldiers. We spent $200 billion at a time we had record state deficits. And when it became clear that there were no weapons, they changed the premise for the war and said, no, we went because of other reasons. If I told you tonight to let's leave the fleet center, we're in danger. And when you get outside, you ask me, Reverend Al, what is the danger? And I say, it don't matter, we just needed some fresh air. I have misled you, and we were misled. We are also faced with the prospect of, in the next 4 years, that 2 or more Supreme Court justices' seats will become available. This year, we celebrated the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. This court has voted 5-4 on critical issues of women's rights and civil rights. It is frightening to think that the gains of civil and women's rights and those movements in the last century could be reversed if this administration is in the White House in these next 4 years. I suggest to you tonight that if George Bush had selected the court in '54, Clarence Thomas would have never got to law school. This is not about a party. This is about living up to the promise of America. The promise of America says we will guarantee quality education for all children and not spend more money on metal detectors than computers in our schools. The promise of America guarantees health care for all of its citizens and doesn't force seniors to travel to Canada to buy prescription drugs they can't afford here at home. The promise of America provides that those who work in our healthcare system can afford to be hospitalized in the very beds they clean up every day. The promise of America is that government does not seek to regulate your behavior in the bedroom, but to guarantee your right to provide food in the kitchen. The issue of government is not to determine who may sleep together in the bedroom. It's to help those that might not be eating in the kitchen. The promise of America is that we stand for human rights.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And of course, Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, two things that, and I'm going to keep taking calls and messages and on our message board, but two things I don't want us to miss. One is that the I'm trying to think of I guess he'd be the head of state of Syria's meeting with President Trump today, who they say used to be with Al Qaeda, and also that we're looking at a president that has pardoned Giuliani et al. For it's about 17 of them for their involvement, any prosecution on them with the January 6th insurrection. And I raised that because while we are concerned about the 8 or 9 Democrats that I think made a extremely problematic vote, and for me, I couldn't support them, as I said. And again, I don't think we throw the baby out with the bathwater. Some will, but I accept what you said about when they do have the roll call vote in December, going into January, the Republicans will all vote against the Affordable Care Act, and the people will know who's blocking that. I agree with that, but that's not going to help us with premiums now. But I don't think you can blame the Democratic caucus. I think that the danger that I'm looking for is that because 8 out of the 50 some odd or 40 some odd Democrats betrayed them, that now Warnock and Ossoff and other Democrats are in jeopardy because our community blames them when they didn't do it, including Schumer. Schumer called me, and Schumer voted against it. So I think that we got to be able to really see what we're talking about. But when you look at the January 6th pardons and this Syrian president in the White House, it shows you how much out of control and out of the norm this president is. He's going to decide a guy that they said was a terrorist is not a terrorist now. He come to the White House. And he's going to decide that if people that tried to terrorize the Capitol, even if they haven't been charged in advance, I'm going to pardon them.
It goes to show you the difference between us and them. Here, some Democrats upset that Joe Biden pardoned his son. But you don't see any Republicans mad about him pardoning not just Giuliani and others who denied the election, but also supported the insurrection on the Capitol. You don't hear any Republican leader, a grassroots activist for that matter, who has a voice upset about that. You had Democrats upset that Joe Biden had his brother and his son in the White House, and look who's in the White House now, the Syrian leader. And so I think there's so many lessons we have to learn from this Trump administration that can be applicable and help us get down the road. One, we can't find ourselves minoring in the major and majoring in the minor. And I think that causes us long-term harm. And that's why when we have a unified front, like we did a few nights ago with the election, it proves that we can do incredible game-changing things. But the more we get into these battles that don't matter, that only matter on K Street, and not focus on the things on Main Street and my street, we're going to always be in trouble. And I always contend, Reverend Al, that no matter the differences we may appear to have amongst each other, they do not compare to the differences we have with the other side. And that's including the 8 Democrats who sold us out last night or are going to sell us out on this vote.
And Lori Parks said, I wasn't upset with Joe Biden did with his son. She's on our live stream. Charles Willis says the Democrats had Donald Trump and the Republicans on the ropes. The Republicans are in charge of the government shutdown. They were showing their true colors. They were going to self-destruct in a government shutdown. Those 8 independent Democrats gave them an out. Those Republicans are going to continue with this Project 2025 agenda. And I don't dispute that they're going to continue with that agenda. But all I'm saying is I would not have sold out. But I also don't blame the senators that did not sell out, because that's what they want us to do, is just jump on everybody. I think that those that stood firm ought to be given credit. Those 8 or 9, they did what they did. And I understand they're saying that people had suffered enough and all. But if you went that far, hold the line as far as I'm concerned. But I think that we can't act like everybody that did not turn should be held for what others did. I think that's where we may have some disagreement. Let's go to Brother Jacob in Philadelphia, WURD. Jacob.
Peace be unto you, Reverend Sharpton, and to you, Brother Seawright. You know, and to your beautiful princess daughter who speaks her father language. I mean, she got that intro down. You know what I mean? She be handling, you know. And you talking about hot button Monday. The button's so hot today, Rev, if you touch it, it'll burn you. So you got to watch yourself, you know. But look, what I'll ask this here, I'm like Brother Seawright. Can we stop as Democrats downing each other? You know, one thing the Republicans do, and we should learn from them, as Brother Seawright just said, they could hear him talk about another man's genitalia.
Yeah.
And you know what they'll say? Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't see that.
That's
I
right.
mean, they won't say nothing negative. They just say they won't. No, I ain't see it. They know, you know, good and well they saw it, right? But they won't down him. We, soon as something happened in the Democratic Party that we don't agree with, we attack like it's a side of a lamb chop thrown in with some piranhas, right? We got to stop that, man. It's a strategy. You know, Reverend Al from Philadelphia International Records, I played. We was in the studio when Archie Bell and the Drill was cutting.
Hold on a minute. I want you to finish this. You know, when you said Philly International, you bought time with me because that warms my heart. We will be right back. Antoine too young to know about Philly International. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
62 years ago today, Martin marched in Washington. 62 years later, the dream is not dead.
I'm here because I must be here. Democracy is not there for the pig, and you have to fight for democracy. That's what it is. What Trump will erase, we will replace.
Is the dreamers in many cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
I would argue that DEI is a result of those that by law and later by enforcement would not deal with diversity, would not deal with including people of color, gender, sexual orientation, as well as disabled. And the conscious effort by government and the private sector to begin to equalize.
Reverend Al Sharpton, Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Let's go back to Philadelphia, Brother Jacob. Brother Jacob, You're keeping it real with Sharpton and C-Rap.
Yes, sir, brother. Look, we talked about that Philadelphia International thing. You know, Lynn Huff, man, Philly International Record.
Yeah.
They put out there, they said, we're going to put a message in the music, and we want you to understand while you dance, right?
Right.
Then they gave us music like Wake Up Everybody. I'll always love my mama. And they told you what people would do for the love of money, right?
Yep.
But going back to Archie Bell and the Drell, I happened to be in one of the sessions where they was cutting the tune Strategy, right? And I believe that the Democrats and Schumer, I think they crazy like a fox here. I believe they got a strategy. And I think we should give them time and space to let that thing play out. Because we see in wins, they couldn't make these moves until they saw the vote the other day and saw the pulse of the American people. There's a time and a place for everything, right, Reverend Al?
Yeah.
But one of the wins we could see right away, the Supreme Court. They don't even want to hear that case. No. In America, you should be allowed by the Constitution, every citizen, to have the right to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I want that for me as a Muslim. I want that for the LGBT community as American citizens. And what's wrong with that? Look, another one. The ugliness of the Trump regime, top to bottom. Yesterday, the booze. He couldn't even make the speech. I would have walked off, but he's so proud he can't do that. Right? Wouldn't you have done that if you had that much? They ain't hearing you. They don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe and I pray that the majority of the American people that love this republic, this democracy, that fought world wars, gave families. Yesterday, Veterans Day, I don't know what it was tomorrow's Veterans Day, but they had the parade here in Philly yesterday. The people that died for this way of life that America, they know that what these ugly regime, white racist things in leadership now, that's not what the founding fathers had as a more perfect union. We know that. It ain't America. But look, we want to do this thing right. We want to let it play out, and it's going to show that the Republicans are the wicked, evil ones. The curtain's been pulled back. We've seen Oz.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
All right. Thank you for your call.
Let it play out.
Thank you for your call. One of the things when Brother Jacob was saying that, Antoine, is that I think that people have the right. I would be disappointed if we weren't outraged that there was 8 or 9. What I don't want is to see us throw out the baby with the bathwater. I think Joe P. on message board that says, I agree with you, Reverend Al. We have to learn to separate the wheat from the tare and stand by those who stand by us. Let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Let's do better. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm worried about Senator Ossoff has a re-election in Georgia. And I'm worried about Wes Moore has got to run again for governor in Maryland. If we just blame every Democrat for what 8 did, that's exactly what the Republicans want. They say they're dumb enough that if we can get just some of them, they'll blame all of them and we'll go back in power. I think when you say, Antoine, that come December, when they have to do the vote, every one of them Republicans is going to vote against the Affordable Care Act. And I think that's what we need to ride into the midterm elections. Those Democrats that sell out, vote against them. The real culprits in this are those that didn't vote and empowered these Republicans in the first place. So a lot of y'all sticking your lip out was the ones sticking your lip out on Election Day last year, and we got in this mess, and now you want to tell us how we got in the mess you helped cause. Let me start there, because some of y'all that is these radio revolutionaries that can call me on the phone and talk a lot of smack 6 months later were the same ones saying why they wasn't with Kamala. So let's be real clear. You helped sponsor this just like those 8 or 9 traitors last night. Let's go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia. Disco Brian's not there. Let me go to James in Atlanta, Georgia. James.
Yeah, it's Reverend Sharpton. This is C. Right. I'll be brief. No, Reverend Sharpton, regarding the Arizona representative who was sworn in, she has not been sworn in.
Right.
Representative Gojava. It'll be almost 2 months in a couple of weeks that she has not been sworn in after her election. There's an article out of the Nashville news entity called Nashville Banner. They released an article October 10th titled "Expedited Results in Tennessee's Special Election Could Impact the Power Balance in Congress. Release of the Epstein Files."
Mm-hmm.
That election is supposed to be held December 2nd. So what if these delays of not swearing her in is connected to this, whereas her signature on the petition discharge to release the Epstein Files, if this Republican can win in the 7th District of Tennessee, but that may counter her signature, which the files may not be released anytime soon. This election is
Antoine, what's your insight into that?
Well, there is going to be a special election in Tennessee 7. I don't have any. I can't give broader thoughts, but I will say that the people have an opportunity to cast their vote in the special election in Tennessee 7 coming up.
So, and your fear is that they're trying to stall so they could balance her vote out with Java.
Yes, they even allude to this in the article.
Interesting.
And they even moved up the certification of the election within 3 days after the election. Representative-elect Gravahala is going to be sworn in ahead of the funding vote. That will not impact the vote on the funding, but she will. Johnson has publicly declared that will happen. I think the Tennessee election is more about how state leaders in that state set the election and how they choose to govern their elections in the state. More so state level conversations than federal conversations. Elections are ran at state level.
I'm going to pull up the article. I'm very intrigued by this. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Lola in Philadelphia. Lola.
Yes. Good afternoon, Al.
Good afternoon.
And Mr. C. Wright. Good afternoon. I am, I'm not even upset. I'm just disappointed and disgusted. I don't even want to say disappointed. I'm disgusted, and it's disturbing what happened. And we backed John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. He had a stroke. He was going through all kinds of stuff that was going on. It was a big thing when he was running about we should abandon him, but people backed him because he was running, I think, against I can't remember who he was running against, but anyway, we thought he would be the better candidate. We backed him, and Philly came out strong and all across Pennsylvania, and now he goes up there and has turned into the next Joe Manchin. And what we have now are Joe Manchins and Kristen Sinema's doing the same thing. We got them out, and now we have these 8 Democrats who have changed over. And just on Tuesday, Dems in all these states, Pennsylvania, we got to retain the justices, and got DA Larry Krasner in Virginia and New Jersey. And they asked the Dems, they asked the people to come out, independents. They come out, and then they turn around. It's like a slap in the face. And then they keep wondering why this dip goes back and forth. It's like a back and forth. It's like a bad relationship. When you leave, and then all your friends say, don't go back, but then you still go back. And this is what's going on. We back the Democrats. We say, okay, we're tired of y'all did this, and now we're going to try something else. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other people go to Republicans or whatever they do, vote for third-party candidates.
Right.
Then they say, well, listen, now we see what's happening with Trump and all that stuff, and nothing's went down. So now we come out on Tuesday. The people come out, show up and show out, give them what they need, show them that we're going to back them, show them that people, Reverend Al, I can't tell you the stuff that's going on in Philadelphia and other cities. People are showing up and showing out for food, for clothing. We are filling in the gaps where the SNAP wasn't being funded. We are filling in the gaps. We're doing the work until the fight was over. They act like nothing was happening on the ground. The ground, Reverend Al, I could send you clips. You could see it all over social media. People were coming out getting food. We had food.
No, I've seen it, and I've seen it all over the country. But would you say that when you say they act like people weren't coming out, who is they?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess the 8 Democrats who said that they had to cave in because of the hurt that people were feeling. Yes, there is going to be hurt. There is going to be hurt. But what I'm saying is people who were going out, donating food, donating our time. We were filling in the gaps, hoping that they would hold the line while the people on the streets in your cities are holding people. We are holding people, giving them the food that they need, giving them the support that they need, so you can hold the line against the Republicans and not cave in. And then you turn around and cave in anyway. With Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff, what they need to do is hopefully we need to help them raise some money to get some commercials on and say that we were not a part of this. We voted no. We got to get the message out there, just like the Republicans do with their crap. Let them know that they weren't involved in that. That it was the 8 Democrats who did this. And I'm gonna tell you something. For me, I walk the walk and talk the talk. We are going to, John Fetterman will not be able to catch a dog in Pennsylvania anymore. He will not be running, or if he I don't know what he's going to do as an independent or whatever, but he will not get elected again in Pennsylvania, in this city. And I hope that in this state, and I hope that goes for Tim Kaine and all the rest of them, Angus and all of them who betrayed us this way. This is why the Republicans keep winning and keep just walking over us like we're garbage, like we're trash. Hold the line. And this is going to be Chuck Schumer's death too. I mean, I know he tried to hold the line and whatever, but people are really tired of this. We see all the different things that are happening in this country, everything that's going on, and Trump is still appealing to give people their full SNAP benefits. So where did we win at when he still, it's not like he backed down. It's not like he said, okay, you know what, I'm going to back down, I'm going to do the right thing. He still went to a court appealing.
Wait, Lola. Maybe you didn't get the news. Trump won the election. They won the Senate. They won the Congress.
Right.
So what we talk about when you were talking like we won. We didn't win the election. We're trying to win some wins because enough of us didn't come out and vote to win the elections. And I think that when Tuesday happened and we started gaining some steam, it also was moving in the right direction. My only position is that we cannot go after the wrong people here. The 8 people that went left, I think we need to deal with. But to say that we're going to thwart the whole Democratic Party, that's the same thing they told people that stopped people from voting in the numbers they should have last November. That's why Trump's in the White House now.
Well, no, I totally agree with you. No, I'm saying that we can't hold them accountable. We have to call a spade and hold the 8 accountable who did what they did. And we have to back Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff.
Right.
We have to get out there and raise the money for them and let them, they're going to have to put out commercials and stuff saying, listen, we've been holding the line. We did not vote. You have to meet people where they are and get on the ground and let people know that you want the ones that did it. Because YouTube and this misinformation that a lot of the young people are getting, people think that Justice Ketanji was in on it. And they don't understand that she wasn't. People don't understand what the law is. So a lot of people, you got to meet people where they are and really talk to them
now what you're
in
saying,
the ground, in the hood.
What you're saying is wisdom because Ketanji had to do it with the court rules. But again, we're so used to just jumping on each other. And they know that.
Right.
That's why they'll throw some bait out there. You're absolutely hitting it right on the head. And it's like I'll use this example, Lola and Antoine. I remember years ago, cop killed a kid in the city. The family asked Nan to come in, asked me to come in. We come in, and we're demanding that the policeman be indicted and prosecuted. And they got some, quote, super militant group saying it's Sharpton's fault. We came in to help the family. We didn't kill the kid. But we're so busy with this hamsters in a barrel, the crabs in a barrel, that we fight each other rather than fighting the enemy and taking a self-analysis. I'm going to say it one more time. Your cousin, your neighbor that didn't vote is who put us in this pickle. And you need to say to them, we can't excuse you. You're talking about people's health care. You're talking about these people for 40 days shut down government workers and said they ain't gonna pay them. I mean, you can't get more ruthless than this. And on top of that, Trump's sitting up there having a Gatsby party in Mar-a-Lago and building a ballroom in Washington. And y'all jumping on Raphael and Chuck Schumer. This is ridiculous. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
1, 2, 3, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, I got the feeling. How I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, I got that. Come on, sing it out. Baby, come on. Hey, hey. Hey, I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored.
All right.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, what's on your mind? Yeah. All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got to tell Reverend Bird, be ready, Daniel, 5th chapter, I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
About a half hour.
So tune in to WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are. No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We're gonna shine up and shake. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
We have a short visit, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have the slavery.
Yeah, that's when, exactly. That was, exactly.
Host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and of course, Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Don't forget, every Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, MSNBC, which will be MS Now starting this Friday. And I'm excited about it. Got new studios, new location, and you and I need it more than ever to have that time to get the nation. I was so happy this weekend we were able to get the head of DCC to really talk about what are y'all doing on the ground with the Congress, congressional candidates and incumbents, as well as had the senator right there on the floor as they were negotiating. And the two black women, never been black women mayors of the state capital of Albany in New York and the Syracuse, New York, and a 19-year-old kid beat his teacher. 19-year-old black kid beat his teacher to be part of the county commission. I've tried to do things that really are important. So watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC, or MS Now, as it will be called starting this Friday. You that are in the New York area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And, of course, that is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you're not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. Let me, before I go back to the phone, let me ask you, Antoine, what do you feel is the legacy of Nancy Pelosi? Give me your view of Nancy Pelosi's, what her announcing her retirement means, and what should she be remembered for?
Well, first of all, being the first woman speaker and the power she was able to galvanize in Washington, perhaps the most consequential speaker to ever serve. And what I appreciate about Speaker Emerita Pelosi is the fact that almost every step along the way where we've seen big winds of change blow in the United States Congress or federal government, she and Jim Clyburn and Steny Hoyer had their handprints on it. Of course, the speaker, as you know, Reb, kind of sets the agenda and sets the tone, determines what comes to the floor for a vote. And then, of course, the majority leader determines when and what that votes look like. But then there was Jim Clyburn, twice the majority whip, counting the votes to make sure it was done. And the way the three of them worked together to deliver the Affordable Care Act and so many other things that will be consequential for generations to come, that's what I will remember her by. And the fact that as a woman in a time period when it wasn't as popular, she was able to galvanize and energize her caucus, diverse as it was, and as diverse as the House Democratic Caucus is, and able to use that for a force of good. So I applaud her for her service, and I'm thankful for her, and certainly she set the tone for what leadership looks like at a very high level.
All right, let's go to the phone. Let me go to my dear friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton and Antoine Seawright.
Good afternoon, Reb, to you and Seawright. You know, I tuned in late, so I don't know what your topics were. You know, I say this. It is a shame the way Trump is abusing the pardon law. He pardoned a big crook and liar, Juliana, who ruined lives, namely Miss Ruby and her daughter. And I thought the law was you are supposed to, show yourself worthy of earning it. Now, he is doing this to keep his henchmen on his side. And Biden is still paying rent in his head. And he's out of office now. Show what you can do, Trump, rather than keep lying over and over again. We see and hear what is not true. And he's busy meeting with other heads of state, but not his own. And the picture, Rev, they showed of him sleeping the other day.
Yeah.
If it had been anybody else, Fox hosts would keep this going from now on. So it's a double standard. And my final thing is Mike Johnson is an habitual liar, also with his so-called religious self. Give me a break. If they had sat down before it reached the shutdown, things would not be in the mess they're in now. And thank you for taking my call.
Good to hear you. I love when you call in. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia. Disco Brian.
There's the ring, Rev. I missed that ring last time, and I started talking, and you didn't hear me. You can hear me now, yes?
Yeah, I hear you now, yes.
Beautiful. I want to first thank Jacob, my neighbor here in the city of brotherly love, for his call. And I would like to address Lola's call. She has grown disillusioned with Dwight Evans, the congressman that represents our district here, Pennsylvania's 3rd, as have I. And I just wanted to invite Lola and all of your other Philly listeners listening on WURD or online to please consider looking up candidate Isaiah T. Martin III. This is not the Isaiah Martin that ran in Texas. Same name, different guy, amazing man. My wife Lindsay and I were at his campaign launch here in Germantown last night, and all it needed was Tyrone Richardson and Trisha from the Nan Choir to make it as life-affirming as a Saturday Action Rally. Right? It was a gospel-infused, love-driven seance for God. I don't know if those happened, but it was beautiful. The primary is May 19th, 2026, with the general on November 3rd. So Philly listeners, please look up Isaiah T. Martin III. He is most active on Instagram, where he has 13,000 followers. So Rev, please consider looking into him and maybe inviting him on for a boost at on Politics Nation or here. And moving on from that, Rev, I just wish Thieves in the Temple, the song Prince dropped 35 years ago, was less prescient. But love definitely needs to come quick. Love definitely needs to come in a hurry, because there are thieves in the temple. Somebody who wrote on the message board earlier said Tim Kaine was the worst Democratic VP pick of their lifetime. But I thought that the worst one was Joe Lieberman. You remember him, right, Rev?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
In fact, I ran against Joe Lieberman in the presidential primaries of 2004. He was one of the people in the primary, so I got to know him well. And remember, he flipped Republican after.
Yep.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Be right back.
Bless you, Rev.
Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. All right, so
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. president of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Get up. God has smiled on me. I get up. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burdened down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. And that has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community Say, I'm gonna stand up and be a man. I'm gonna do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Yeah, Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say that.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968. Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be
Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, What's on Your Mind?
Yeah.
All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got, tell, Reverend Birthday ready Daniel 5th chapter I want him to read. And, I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what, half hour?
About a half hour.
You should tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are. Turn around, Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend. Good afternoon, guest.
Good afternoon.
I've been listening to the program all week. I listen to the program every week. And I do appreciate the fact that our Lord and Savior has touched the judges to put an end to Trump's shenanigans as far as the food stamps and everything, and then the SNAP program and all that. And I have very, very much appreciate everybody's opinion about this man. Everybody from your best friend in Chicago, Eunice, as well as the president, former president, Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, everybody that has warned us about this man, but yet still the black Republicans have somewhat got an earful, that he was going to do everything good for them. Turned out to be bad, and he's in office. And, it's just continuing to be a nightmare. But, like I said, the judges are being touched to put an end to his shenanigans. And, I hope that everything will cease to a point. And I just want to thank you, Reverend, for doing what you do, as well as the Reverend, your guest. And, I just appreciate everything you have done. So I'm going to get off the air. But to Dominique, I will keep it real. And thank you, Reverend, for the opportunity to speak. Bye.
Thank you. Let me ask you, Antoine, as we move forward now toward the end of our negotiations with the Republicans, describe how that plays out in the end of the year or January, because I think that people feel that this is a done deal either way, and I think that there's going to be a lot of room there for organizing and mobilizing, because they are going to have to vote on the ACA bill, and they're going to have to deal with the whole questions of their own people. You still have, what people don't understand, what the Democrats did get them to do, including the 8 people that went left, or I should say went right, is that they did get them to deal with the furloughs and the back pay for federal workers, and they did get them to deal with the issue of the whole question of the air traffic controls and other issues like that. What they kicked down the road, which concerns, outraged me, was the whole ACA and the premiums and all. And you still have the tariffs, and so it's not going to deal with inflation. There's a whole lot wrong that the Republicans have put in place, from the tariffs to the against the ACA and others, that we cannot not let people understand that, because we're mad and rightfully angry at 8 people. But you still got all this stuff the Republicans are trying to bring through, and we don't need to give them the smoke to escape that.
Well, Rev, a couple fronts that I want to bring to your attention. Number one, there's a lot of talk about holding the 8 accountable, but it's tricky because Mastros from Nevada is not up to 28, Hansen not up to 28, Fetterman 28, Kane in 30, King in 30, Rosen in 30, Durbin's retiring, and Shaheen's retiring. So I think that we've got to breathe a little bit and let's control the fights that we can control right in front of us. In December, the Senate Republicans have agreed to take a vote on the Affordable Care Act tax enhancement credits. That means those skyrocketing premiums that people are facing because of the Republicans, the public will get a chance to see how they really feel about that and where their conscience is. That's good for us going into next year. If you add that on top of the largest cut to SNAP benefits in American history they took early in the big ugly bill, same thing with the largest cut to health care in American history with a $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. I think that those are things that we've got to galvanize and energize on, and not to mention this continuing resolution takes us to January. So we're going to be back in this posture in January after the Senate Republicans have taken a vote on the ACA subsidies. The House will likely not take a vote at all, or Johnson has at least said he's not going to guarantee to do it. And so there's another battle to fight. This is a battle versus war conversation, Rev. We may have, in perception, lost a small battle, but we have not lost the war. That's why we've got to stay focused. And so, yes, be angry and frustrated with the 8. Perhaps we want to open up the government, get Capitol Hill staffers paid, get the airlines moving, all those things. But understand, this is just a pimple on the rhinoceros butt in the grand scheme of things, because the way we win and the way we set our differences is at the ballot box. We'll get a chance to hold these folks accountable next year at the ballot box, but we have to have something to run on and to run against. And that's what this government, Republican government healthcare shutdown gave us for 2025. We were able to make healthcare a centralized issue. We were able to have a message that everyone was unified on and everyone was on the same page on. And when we were unified with a clear, concise message, we won big all across the country right now.
And I think that it's important to remind people that when this gets to the House, first of all, Johnson's going to catch a fit getting all the House members in here with their shutdown, the airlines trying to get straight. But when it gets to the House, you don't know that the House is going to agree to all of this anyway, because you got a whole nother MAGA crazy crowd that Johnson's got to deal with in the House. And this may fall apart in the House.
Well, Rev, now in the House, this was a procedural motion in the Senate. It has not cleared the Senate yet. This was a procedural motion. That's why I'm saying people should step back and take a breath for a second and let the process play out.
But in order to let the process play out, you have to understand the process. That's why we come on every day, because folks be guessing rather than get the facts. That is very possible that there's a lot of hurdles this week. The people are not getting paid right away. People are not getting SNAP right away. This is a procedural process that we just went through, a procedure. We got to see what the vote is in the Senate, and then Johnson's got to get the House back. So hold your fire. You could think it's a burglar and it's a rabbit in the bush. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there, and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf, because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, christen your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer. Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, What's on Your Mind?
Yeah.
All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got, tell, Reverend Bird, be ready, Daniel, 5th chapter, I want him to read. And, I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what, half hour?
About a half hour.
You should tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are. No, just stand still. No, just stand still. No, just stand still. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And O.G. Kelly's saying Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson upheld Trump's decision to not fund SNAP benefits so that so that it would go back to the lower courts in which order Trump to fund SNAP in the first place. So I think that, again, we're dealing with whatever the strategy is. And if the strategy is for it to go back to the lower courts, which this was not a vote by the whole court. This was because it was in her district. It goes back to the lower courts who had ordered the payment. That should resolve it unless it goes back up. So I think I think there's got to be a strategy to all this stuff. I think that a lot of us, and necessarily so, have been concerned, and we need to hold them accountable. That's why I told them last night when I got off Politics Nation that when I got the call from Schumer that these 9 were going left, that I really wanted to do Morning Joe this morning, which I did the last hour, because I really wanted to make it clear that I would have held out. But we still must be strategic and move on and do it right. The Congressional Black Caucus will weigh in on this as well, Antoine, when it gets to the House. And a lot of that is that they've been anxious to do it, but you do not have the Speaker calling the House back in session. Antoine?
Before African American senators who are part of the Congressional Black Caucus, as of last night, as of today, have certainly spoken out on their posture on this partisan spending bill that came out of that's likely going to come out of the Senate if all the procedural hurdles pass, and if Rand Paul gets what he wants, because he's already said that he's going to slow down this process because of some hemp provision in the bill. And certainly when it gets to the House, you'll see Congressional Black Caucus and in fact, the Tri Caucus speak out against it. But more importantly, I think people should look out for a unified front in the House Democratic Caucus against this partisan spending bill, because that's what this fight was all about. And this fight started in the House, led by Leader Jeffries, and that's where we are now. But, Rev, you're younger than I, so I'll remind you of this, but Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes had a song that says, "Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed." I hope that because of this partisan government healthcare shutdown and because of the big ugly bill and because of what we saw with SNAP and what Republicans are willing to do and what they're willing not to do to help their own, that this is a wake-up call for America, a wake-up call for Democrats or those who do not subscribe to what they see out of Trumpism and Maganomics, that the power and importance of elections and our vote, they matter every single inch of the day. Because if Kamala Harris was president, I can assure you we would not be in this posture. So wake up, everybody.
Let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Sharpton. I just wanted to get a quick comment on some things. They have the thing they allege a T-Mobile boycott was something that has to deal with this. T-Mobile allegedly want to bust up a lot of unions that's supported by the president. And then the second one was about this fake hair that these women are putting in their heads. It's got these chemicals in it that they put in the black communities. And then the last but not least, 45-47, that Orange Cheeto sitting at a football game, all places. Now, I didn't hear the booze because I turned my volume off. So there it is. It is what it is, right?
It is what it is. That's right. And thank you for your call. I didn't know about that boycott. I know that we have, and I've announced that the last 2 Saturdays, we're in the process in National Action Network when I say we are buying shares in certain companies that we named at the convention. And we're going to the shareholder meetings that some are starting right after Thanksgiving, the rest at the beginning of the year. I've not said a lot publicly because I don't want them to know how to block us buying the shares. We're in the process of buying the shares now. Once we own the shares, I'll be very loud saying, meet us at XYZ company where we're boycotting, and we're going in as shareholders to say that as shareholders, the strategy on that, Antoine, is to get up in the shareholders meetings, which they by law have to have every year, and say we're shareholders. Why are we dropping DEI when the evidence is with DEI, the company made more money? So we as shareholders, you're messing with our money. And Nan's going to buy the shares and distribute them and bring our people in. So, I mean, we need to work all kind of ways to get our interests served.
Rev, I think that's a very smart strategy, and I think it's a good inside-out strategy. As you know, the late, great Stephanie Tuff Jones used to say, you're either going to be at the table or on the menu, and so there's more than one way to be at the table. You do not have to always be at the table from a legislative standpoint or an elected official standpoint to make a difference. I think what you all are doing on the economic standpoint is so good, and to make certain that our community's voices are at the table in an ownership way, because so often in our community we owe more than we own.
Right.
And so in teaching us the importance of owning shares, owning homes, and all those things are so important.
And see, well, when Trump got back in and went after DEI, and some people said boycott, we said we'll support that, and we did the boycott. We went in and worked with Costco's, shopped at Costco's, because they openly said we're not going to end DEI. You gotta have always more than one strategy. People said ain't nobody gonna march. Blacks ain't marching. We so deflated. Well, we put thousands down Wall Street. The only black car march with thousands since Trump been back in. Now we're going in this strategy. I cannot deal with people that have a defeatist attitude and a defeatist complex. First thing go wrong. It's like flying in a plane with somebody. You hit a little turbulence, and they grab the knapsack or the parachute and get ready to jump. It's just turbulence. We're not crashing. And I think a lot of us run around with psychological parachutes. Don't jump. Don't jump. The plane is going through turbulence. And these 8 people caused some turbulence last night, but we got some more flight that we got to finish, and we could take them down. Tuesday taught us that we could win. You won Prop 50 in California. You won in Virginia. You won in New Jersey. You won in New York City. You can't expect you're going to win it all. Yes, they're going to come back and fire back, including some of our own, but you keep on fighting. Let's go to Mr.
And
Yo.
Reb, can I just add a little editor's note? We won 3 Supreme Court seats, state Supreme Court seats in battleground Pennsylvania, as well as 2 statewide Public Service Commission seats in Ruby Red, Georgia. So don't tell us what we can't do when we unify and when we use our voices properly.
That's right. And we cannot let them. One of the reasons, and I need to say this again, one of the reasons that I'm very concerned, I was saying to some of our young people, is that if we let them control the narrative, you will not know the difference between a victory and a defeat. So what they've done now is say we don't want to deal with black media has almost been wiped out. That's among the things we're demanding as we go in these companies is they got to advertise with black media. Then they say we don't want to deal with corporate media. We're going to do everything online. We don't own the sites online. Elon Musk owns X. So if they get all of us to say we going online, and then they can just, bam, shut you down because we decide, oh, no, we're not carrying that, then what you going to do? So think this thing through. We shouldn't put all of our eggs in no basket. We need some of us in corporate media, some online, some doing other things use the churches, whatever we need to do. But we cannot have this my way or no way attitude. We always had a different number of ways to do things. And we always were intergenerational. The one that called a march on Washington in 1963 was A. Philip Randolph, not Dr. King. And A. Philip Randolph was 72 when he called that march. When Minister Farrakhan called a march, the Million Man March, he was in his mid to late 60s. So, I mean, we cannot let them play games with us because we don't know our own history and we don't know our own community. Nancy Pelosi retiring at 85, that's what she want to do. But Jim Clyburn is fine and healthy at 85, probably can beat you doing push-ups. Everybody ain't the same 85. And some of y'all are 35 and need to go to the gym with me. How somebody 370 pounds on a 4'11" frame gonna ask me, am I in shape because I'm older than him? And he's one Big Mac from the emergency room. I mean, come on. Let us be serious and let us do some serious work. Let me go to Mr. Yoga. Go ahead.
Rev, I can say really quickly, congratulations to Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman on her retirement, 80 years old from New Jersey.
Great
who
woman.
announced today before our program that she was not going to run for re-election.
And Bonnie's a great woman, hard work. I know her out of Jersey, and she did us proud. Let me join you in that congratulations. While I hear the music, I left a few on the board. Y'all call me first tomorrow. I'm in tomorrow, and we will be here. Let me thank Antoine Seawright. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.